We got Miami Hurricanes flip action. Over the weekend, Miami flipped four-star edge Elias Rudolph from Michigan. Miami recruiting is waking up as summer comes to a close. Canes now sitting inside the top 20 at number 19. Let's bring on Izubee Charles from Cane Sport. Izubee, a final push for five-star David Stone. He's set to make his decision in 10 days. A lot of people are penciling him into Oklahoma's class, but it sounds like Miami has not faded. What do you think the Canes' chances are as we're just about 10 days out?
Yeah, for a long time, I was with everyone thinking kind of Oklahoma was running away with this one. But after talking to Stone at IMG's Media Day on Friday, I'm kind of thinking Miami's, kind of creeping up on them and making some noise right now. With Miami, they're kind of pulling out all the little things, the little stops to try to get David Stone to commit to the Hurricanes. When I spoke with him, they made a cool graphic for his 6-year-old brother's first day of school, saying, hey, dominate first grade. Congratulations on, being in first grade. And those are the little things Miami's trying to do to make sure David Stone feels a part of the family and make sure they're connected with his family. When I asked David Stone, what's the biggest draw for you to Miami? And he said family. He says, if I call my mom right now, she's probably on the phone with one of the Miami staff members. So Miami's really, really letting David Stone he's wanted in Miami and letting his family know that they're welcome to Miami too. So I feel like Miami's making up a lot of ground right now. Honestly, I think Oklahoma's kind of still in the lead, but I'm not, shooting Miami out of this picture at all. And, come the 26th, it's going to be very interesting where David Stone lands. But I really do think Miami has a fighting chance to land, one of the top prospects in the country.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, the signs all pointed to Oklahoma for much of the offseason, but Miami got that traction in the summer when they got David Stone on those back-to-back unofficial visits, hosted him on unofficial, and now putting on that full court press about 10 days out. Now we got one coming up this weekend, a big one. 4-star defensive lineman Kamari Franklin, who's a top 50 overall prospect, is going to make his announcement on Saturday. Miami's involved. Now, Ole Miss and Tennessee, they were maybe the favorites early on, but it seems like they faded. Izubee, do you see this as a two-team battle heading into Saturday, Auburn and Miami?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. And like you mentioned, Tennessee was a school that I was really high on kind of end of July heading into August. And then you see, Miami start making the push. He comes back down to Miami for the 5th time, I believe, in the last year. So, momentum was kind of trending towards Miami. Then Auburn just comes out of nowhere recently. Coach Freeze over there just landed TJ Lindsey, and they're hoping to land Kamari Franklin. Yeah. Right now, I think all signs point to, the Tigers win this matchup. But, I don't think Miami's going to give up or at any means or kind of let off, the Kamari Franklin push. He's a guy that they really like. They worked out with him, I believe, at their Legends camp during July. So they really love him. He loves Miami. He's been down there 5 times, like I recently mentioned. But I do feel like Auburn kind of has that edge that really made that big push as of late. Regardless of where Kamari Franklin goes, I do think Miami's going to pursue until that early National Signing Day on December 21st. So Saturday is going to be a very interesting day if he ends up, in Auburn, Miami. I just think this recruitment's far from over.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he is a top priority for Miami. They've shown that throughout the summer. Let's move from one priority target to another. Safety Zaquan Patterson. He announces not this weekend, but next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe. And this seems to be another Auburn-Miami battle.
Yeah, Coach Freeze is making it real hard on, Cristobal and the, company down there. For a long time, I really thought it was Michigan that was, Miami's biggest competition was Zaquan Patterson. He went up there for a few times during the summer for unofficials. And like I said, with Franklin, Auburn's kind of coming out of left field and making a push for, one of Miami's biggest targets in that 2024 class. And what they're doing is making his mom, really comfortable with the program, showing her the ins and outs of what they do over there in Auburn. And that's kind of Zaquan's biggest thing. If his mom likes the program, he likes the program. And when I spoke with him, I believe it was last month or late June, he said his mom is kind of going to be that biggest deciding factor for him. Auburn's showing her everything that she wants to see, and it's going to make it really interesting down the stretch. Right now, I still like Miami with Zaquan Patterson, a local guy that they've prioritized for a very long time now, but it's going to be very interesting to see how things come down when that decision day comes, and I think Auburn is making a real push for him, but like I said, I still like Miami right now at the moment with Zaquan Patterson.
All right, now let's stay in the state of Florida. Mincy and LJ McCray, 2 studs at Daytona Beach Mainland High School. Now, LJ McCray is not going to make his decision till October, so let's set him aside for right now. But safety Zay Mincy, rumors were flying all last weekend that Mincy was maybe ready to make a decision. It was going to go in Miami's direction, but there was kind of silence as the weekend ended and nothing into the week. Do the Canes get it done, and when do you think he announces?
So with Mincy, he recently, visited Miami at the end of July for their big cookout, and kind of that's when momentum, started heading in Miami's way, saying, hey, Mincy might commit to Miami. Mincy's thinking about pulling the trigger. But I think those, kind of calmed down a little bit. That post-high visit kind of dimmed down a little bit. So I think it's really a battle between, Florida State, and Bama with Mincy. I can't really put a pinpoint on a date because, like I said, that post-high visit kind of died down a little bit with Mincy. But there is interest from both sides. He keeps coming back to Miami, so that's a good sign. The staff really likes him, and they think he's a versatile player. He's listed as a safety, but I think they want to use him as kind of a cornerback, maybe, just everywhere in that secondary. So with Mincy, I feel like it's kind of up in the air right now. Like I said, he keeps coming back to Miami, so that's a great sign. But I can't really put a pinpoint on a date where he's going to commit. But Miami's still kind of making that full court press for one of the top safeties in the class.
All right, let's talk about his teammate, LJ McCray. George has come on strong this summer, but he's not deciding until October. So what does Miami need to do to close and land LJ McCray?
Yeah, my biggest thought when thinking about LJ McCray is getting him back on campus because he still has his official visit to Florida State during the season. Mm-hmm. And last time I spoke with him, he was just saying, I'm not sure whether I'm going to visit anywhere else before that visit or not. So I feel like Miami's number one priority right now should be getting LJ McCray back on campus around Coach Taylor, around Coach Joe Salavea, around Coach Mario Cristobal, because that's going to be the biggest thing, Miami showing him what they can provide, what they can do for him to make him successful at that next level, just getting him back around the staff, getting him for a game day visit so he can see Hard Rock, so he can see the fans, so he can see everything Miami has to offer. So at the moment, I feel like the biggest thing Miami needs to do is to get LJ McCray back on campus, either before that official visit to Florida State or after that official visit, to kind of have a lasting impression on him, because his official visit was in June, and it's been some time since then. So getting him back on campus, I think, should be Miami's number one priority if they want to make some noise and potentially land one of the top defensive linemen in the class.
Well, speaking of making noise, Miami has some 5-star flip targets in their sights. But before we get to that, Miami fans, do me a favor. Like this video and subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. We just crossed 100,000 subscribers. We want to thank you. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. All right. Who we talking about 5-star flips? We're talking about Ellis Robinson, the number one corner in the nation in wide receiver. Jeremiah Smith, also the number one player at his position. So Miami is not playing around with these flip targets. Let's start with Ellis Robinson, committed to Georgia, but he's had a lot of contact and some visits to Miami this offseason. Where do you think things stand as we head into the season?
Yeah, so I spoke with Ellis Friday at IMG's media day, and with him, he's always loved Miami. He's always loved Coach Cristobal. He's always loved Coach Jamil Adai, the defensive backs coach. But the biggest thing with him, and, even I think that it's hard to flip, someone from the two-time defending national championships coming off a 5-7 season. And when I asked him, what do you really want to see from the Hurricanes this year? He just said, I want to see them, progress on the field and, do better than they did last year pretty much, because, like I said, it's very hard to, try to recruit against a team that just coming off back-to-back national championships. He loves Coach Adai. His family loves Miami, which is a very, very big thing. His dad is the big fan of the Hurricane staff and all that good stuff. So I feel like if Miami can produce on the field and kind of show, hey, we're taking that step in the right direction, that'll help their chances a lot with Ellis Robinson, who said he told me he loves it down in Miami. So Hurricanes, he's not closing the door on them. So I feel like a good season on the field this year will go a long way for Miami if they want to try to flip Ellis Robinson.
Now we come to Jeremiah Smith, the number one wide receiver in the country, the 5-star committed to Ohio State. And he's already said that he is going to make a quote-unquote final decision sometime in December before he early enrolls. So we know that nothing's going to happen anytime soon, but Jeremiah Smith has been taking visits. He went to all 3 schools in the state of Florida, Florida State, and Miami a number of times throughout the offseason. Where do you think the Canes stand with him, though?
So I feel like Miami's always going to be lingered in that picture for Jeremiah Smith. A guy right in their backyard at Shamadan Madonna, a school that they recruit a lot, a school that they have his best friend committed to, wide receiver Josiah Trader. And I feel like I said, I sound like a broken record, but until National Signing Day, till that pen hits paper, Miami's not going to let up on Jeremiah Smith. And like I said, I'm going to sound like a broken record again. If Miami can produce on the field and show Jeremiah Smith, hey, we can send guys to that next level at the wideout position. Our wideouts are among some of the best in the country. that'll give him something to think about. I feel like he's not even close to, being done with recruitment. He's enjoying it. He's taking all the trips, Florida, Florida State, all these schools in Florida around the country. So I feel like if Miami can produce and show prospects that, hey, if you come to Miami, you can be successful, we can send you to the league, that'll go a very long way for the Hurricanes this year. And I feel like Jeremiah Smith is right under that umbrella of prospects that want to see what Miami can do this year and moving on forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a big put up or shut up year for Miami. And if they go out there and they play well, I think they're going to land a lot of these guys that are still on the board right now. So this leads me to my last question. What do you feel is Miami's biggest remaining need left to fill in the 24 cycle?
So I'd have to go with two position groups on the defensive side of the ball. I'll start with safety. Right now Miami has arguably the best safety duo in the country with Cam Kitchens, an All-American, and James Williams. But after this year, those two guys are gone, and the depth in that position room is, kind of lacking. So I feel like with Miami going after guys like Zaquan Patterson and Mincy, and they have two guys committed right now in Dylan Day and Isaiah Thomas, safety is kind of one of the biggest position groups that Miami needs to fill in the cycle. And then kind of switching over to the defensive line, right now we have two really good edge rushers in Elias Rudolph and Marquise Lightfield. But in the interior, they're kind of lacking with that. They're going to lose Leonard Taylor, who's projected to go to the draft this year. Branson Dean, another guy that's on his last year of eligibility. Right now they have Artavius Jones committed out of Bluntstown in Florida, 4-star guy that they really, really like. But they really do want to bring more guys to solidify that middle of the defense in the trenches up front. So with guys like David Stone, Aiden Breland, and, a bunch of other guys, that play in the interior of the defensive line, I feel like just those two position groups are the biggest, needs and wants Miami's focused on right now in this 24 cycle.
Yeah. Filling out the trenches, always a major need. Cam Franklin announces his decision Saturday. We'll see. Will it be Auburn? Will it be Miami? Izubee Charles is on Kane Sport talking recruiting all day, every day. Izubee, thanks for stopping by today on the Inside Scoop.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. And remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.